The wine glass trembled in Emma's hand as she stared at her phone. 3 weeks of dating Tyler. And tonight, she felt bold, reckless. The kind of bold that comes from exhaustion and unpaid bills and a mother. Slowly dying in a hospital bed across town, her fingers moved across the screen. Something about missing him, about wanting him, about tonight. She hit send. The apartment walls pressed in around her. Boston's lights flickered through the window like dying stars. Another 60-hour week at the bookstore. Another stack of medical bills. Another night pretending she wasn't drowning? The phone buzzed. Interesting proposition. Though I should mention, I typically negotiate terms before entering into any arrangement. What exactly are you offering? Emma's heart stopped. The number wasn't Tyler's. Her face burned as she scrolled up. T. Ashford. The accountant referral. Sophie had given her last month. Oh God, oh my God, I'm so sorry. That message was meant for someone else. Please delete it and forget this ever happened. The response came immediately. The classic wrong number excuse. Though I must say, it's certainly the most creative opening I've received. What makes you think I want to delete it? Emma's embarrassment twisted into irritation. Who was this person? Because it's the decent thing to do when someone makes an obvious mistake. Decent, perhaps, but also boring. Tell me something. Do you often send such messages, or was tonight special? She should block the number. Any reasonable person would. That's none of your business. And yet here we are. Texting, that makes me considerably less of a stranger already. Despite herself, Emma smiled. There was something infuriating and magnetic about this person's confidence. You're very sure of yourself. I find that certainty saves time. So does honesty. You sent a provocative message to a wrong number. I'm choosing to be entertained rather than offended. Where does that leave us? Emma's wine glass sat empty on the table. She should stop. She should definitely stop. It leaves us saying good night and never speaking again. Does it? Because you're still talking to me. I'm being polite. You're being curious. He was right. And they both knew it. Fine. Yes, I'm curious. Who are you? Someone who appreciates directness. Daniel Ashford. And you are? Emma. Emma Parker. Well, Emma Parker. What were you hoping to accomplish with your original message? I already told you. It was meant for someone else. No. But what were you hoping would happen when this someone else received it? Emma stared at the screen. The question cut deeper than she expected. Her fingers moved before she could stop them. I was hoping to feel like someone saw me. Really saw me. Not just the responsible daughter or the struggling bookstore manager or the friend who always has it together. Someone who saw me as desirable and exciting and worth taking a risk for. The honesty shocked her. She'd revealed too much to a complete stranger. Daniel's response took longer this time. That's remarkably honest for someone talking to a wrong number. Wine makes me honest. And apparently reckless. I don't think you're reckless. Lonely, maybe. Tired of playing it safe? Tears stung Emma's eyes. How could a stranger see through her so completely? You don't know anything about me. I know you work hard. I know you're carrying weight that's not entirely your own. I know you're brave enough to take a chance on connection, even if it started as a mistake. Am I wrong? Emma's chest tightened. No, you're not. Wrong good. Then let me propose something. I'm almost afraid to ask. Dinner with me. Tomorrow night. No expectations. No obligations. Just two people who might have connected by accident, but are choosing to see where it leads. Emma's heart hammered against her ribs. This was insane. That's crazy. I don't even know what you look like. Does it matter? You've already told me more truth in 10 minutes than most people share in months. I find that far more attractive than any photograph. You could be a serial killer, could be. But I'm actually a tech entrepreneur who works too much and has forgotten what it feels like to have a conversation that surprises him. You surprised me tonight, Emma Parker. Emma walked to the window. City lights stretched endlessly. This was probably the worst idea she'd ever had. One dinner. Somewhere public. Absolutely. I'll text you the address tomorrow. And Emma? Yes. Wear something that makes you feel powerful. Not for me. For yourself. Emma fell asleep with her phone clutched in her hand, wondering what kind of beautiful disaster she'd just invited into her carefully controlled life. The restaurant's crystal chandeliers cast diamond patterns across white tablecloths. Emma's emerald dress felt like armor and exposure all at once. She'd almost backed out 3 times. Then she saw him. Daniel Ashford stood as she approached. Tall, over 6 feet, with dark hair touched by silver at the temples, gray eyes that seemed to see straight through her, a charcoal suit that screamed money and power. When he smiled, everything about him transformed from stern to unexpectedly warm. Emma. His voice was deeper in person, resonant. Her name sounded precious in his mouth. Daniel. His handshake sent electricity up her arm. You're even more beautiful than I imagined. The directness made her blush. He ordered wine in flawless French, then turned his complete attention to her. I'm glad you came. I wasn't entirely sure you would. Wasn't entirely sure I would either. This isn't usually my style. What is your style? Careful, planned, responsible. Sounds exhausting. Emma laughed despite herself. It really is. The wine arrived. Daniel poured for both of them, lifting his glass to wrong numbers and right moments. Emma clinked her glass against his. The wine was exceptional, but it was the conversation that truly intoxicated her. So you manage a bookstore, Daniel said, leaning forward. What drew you to that world? Stories saved me when I was younger. My father left when I was 10. My mother worked 2 jobs to keep us afloat. Books were my escape. My education? My friends when I felt most alone? Opening the store 5 years ago felt like giving back to the thing that raised me. That's beautiful. Most people I know chase money or status. You chased meaning. Meaning doesn't pay the bills, though. The wine loosened her tongue. My mother was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer 8 months ago. The treatments insurance covers are helping. But there's an experimental therapy that could significantly improve her chances. It costs $30,000 over 6 months. I've been working extra shifts, selling everything I can, but I'm nowhere close. She stopped abruptly, horrified. I'm sorry. That was completely inappropriate. Daniel reached across the table and took her hand. His palm was warm, his grip firm but gentle. Don't apologize for being human. Emma, that's the rarest thing I've encountered in years. Something in his eyes made her believe him. As dinner progressed, Emma learned about Daniel's world. His tech company, built from nothing. Offices in 12 countries, hundreds of millions in the bank. But you're not happy, Emma observed. Daniel's expression flickered with surprise. What makes you say that? Because you've described your life like it's a resume, not a story. You've told me what you've accomplished, not who you are. Silence stretched between them. Daniel refilled both glasses and spoke more quietly. 4 years ago, I was engaged to a woman named Victoria. Everything I thought I wanted. Beautiful, educated, from the right family. 2 months before the wedding, I came home early from a business trip and found her in bed with my business partner. They'd been together for over a year. Emma squeezed his hand. I'm so sorry. The betrayal changed me. I built higher walls. I turned every relationship into a transaction because transactions can't hurt you. They have terms and conditions and end dates. They're safe. They're also lonely, Emma said softly. Yes, Daniel agreed, meeting her eyes. They are. The moment charged with dangerous intimacy. The waiter arrived with their entrees, breaking the spell. But something fundamental had shifted. Daniel set down his fork and looked at her with an intensity that made her pulse race. I want to propose something to you. Emma and I need you to hear me out completely before you respond. Emma's stomach tightened. All right. I need someone in my life, not a girlfriend. Not a relationship with all the complications and expectations. I need genuine companionship. Someone real. Someone who challenges me and sees me as something other than a bank account. You need resources to save your mother. I'm proposing a mutually beneficial arrangement. Emma's cheeks flushed. What kind of arrangement? $20,000 per month for 6 months. In exchange, you accompany me to business events, dinners, occasional travel. You would be my partner in social situations. Nothing you don't want to do. Nothing beyond your comfort level. Just your presence. Your conversation. Your honesty. Emma pulled her hand back as if burned. You want to pay me to be your escort? I want to pay you to be yourself, Daniel corrected firmly. I meet dozens of people every week who want something from me. Investment, partnership, access. You're the first person in years who talked to me like I was just a person. That's worth far more than money. But money is what you need, and money is something I have in excess. Emma's mind raced. $20,000 a month would not only cover her mother's treatment, but eliminate her credit card debt. Give her breathing room she hadn't had in years, but accepting money for her company felt wrong on a fundamental level. This is insane, she whispered. Is it Daniel's gray eyes held hers? Or is it to people being honest about what they need? I'm not asking you to pretend to love me, Emma. I'm asking you to be exactly who you were last night. Real, unfiltered, yourself. And in exchange, your mother lives? The words hung between them like a blade. I need time to think. Take all the time you need. Daniel pulled out a card with his personal number. But Emma, think about what you're really afraid of. Is it the arrangement itself? Or is it the possibility that you might actually want this? Emma stared at the contract on her kitchen table. 20 pages of legal language that boiled down to 6 months of her life in exchange for her mother's survival. Sophie sat across from her, coffee growing cold between them. So you'd basically be his paid companion, Sophie said carefully. Basically, and you're sure he's not expecting anything else? Emma thought about Daniel's gray eyes, the way he'd looked at her like she mattered. I'm sure. Then why do you look like you're about to cry? Because this felt like selling a part of herself she could never get back. Because it felt like giving up on the fantasy that love could be pure and uncomplicated. Because deep down, she was terrified of how much she'd wanted to say yes the moment he asked. Because I don't have a choice, Emma whispered. She signed the contract that afternoon. The first event was a charity gala. Daniel sent a stylist to her apartment with 3 designer gowns. Emma chose the midnight blue silk that made her feel like someone else entirely. Someone who belonged in Daniel's world. The ballroom glittered with Boston's elite. Daniel's hand on the small of her back felt possessive and protective all at once. Remember, he murmured in her ear, you're not here to impress them. They're here to impress you. But it was Daniel who impressed her. The way he commanded every room. The way people leaned in when he spoke. The way his attention never strayed from her for more than a moment. Who's the girl? She heard someone whisper. Daniel Ashford's new acquisition, came the reply. The word stung. Acquisition, that night. Daniel drove her home in his Tesla. The city lights blurred past. You were perfect tonight, he said. I felt like a fraud. Why? Because everyone thought I was your girlfriend? You're equal. And I'm just someone you're paying to be there. Daniel pulled over abruptly. Turned to face her. You think money makes you less than them? Emma, half the people in that room would sell their souls for what I'm offering. But I didn't choose them. I chose you. Not because I'm paying you. Because you're the only real thing in my life. The intensity in his voice made her chest ache. This is getting complicated, she whispered. It was always going to be complicated. He kissed her then. Soft and fierce and desperate all at once. Emma knew she should pull away. This wasn't part of the arrangement. This changed everything, but she kissed him back anyway. The next 2 months blurred together. Business dinners where Daniel's hand would find hers under the table. Weekend trips to New York where separate hotel rooms became a polite fiction. Mornings waking up in his penthouse with the city spread beneath them like a kingdom. Emma's mother started the experimental treatment. The results were promising. Every day. Her mother grew stronger, while Emma fell deeper into something she couldn't name. Then came the envelope it was waiting on. Daniel's kitchen counter one morning, cream-colored, expensive, addressed to her in elegant script. Inside was a single photograph. Daniel and a beautiful blonde woman at a restaurant ate last week, while Emma had been visiting her mother at the hospital, and a note in feminine handwriting. Ask him about Victoria. Ask him what he's really paying you for. Emma's hand shook as Daniel emerged from the bedroom, hair still wet from the shower. What is this? Her voice cracked. Daniel's face went pale as he saw the photo. Emma, I can explain. Explain what? That you're still seeing your ex? That this whole arrangement was some kind of game to make her jealous? No, God, no. Victoria showed up at my office. She wanted to talk. I told her about you. She didn't take it well. You told her about me? About our arrangement? I told her I'd met someone who mattered. Someone you're paying to matter, Daniel. There's a difference. The words hung between them like broken glass. Is that really what you think this is? Daniel's voice was raw. After everything? You think this is just a transaction? I don't know what to think anymore. I don't know what's real and what I'm being paid to feel. Daniel stepped closer, his gray eyes intense. Then let me make it simple. I'm in love with you, Emma. Not the arrangement. Not the contract. You. The woman who texts wrong numbers and fights for her mother and calls me on my bullshit. That's real. This is real, Emma's heart hammered. You can't be in love with me. This was supposed to be simple. Nothing about you has ever been simple. He kissed her again, and Emma felt herself fracturing, because she loved him too. Desperately, completely, and that terrified her more than anything else. But as his arms wrapped around her, she felt the photograph in her pocket like a warning. Victoria wasn't done with them. The hospital room smelled like antiseptic and hope. Emma's mother looked stronger than she had in months. The experimental treatment was working. Color had returned to her cheeks. Her smile reached her eyes again. You look happy, sweetheart, her mother said, squeezing Emma's hand. Emma forced a smile. I am, Mom. It's him, isn't it? This Daniel you've been seeing. Emma's chest tightened. Her mother didn't know about the arrangement. Nobody did except Sophie. Yeah, it's him. Then why do you look so sad? Because falling in love with someone you're contractually obligated to was the kind of complication that destroyed people. Because she didn't know where the arrangement ended and real feelings began. Because Victoria's photograph felt like a promise of destruction. I'm not sad, Mom. I'm grateful. For you. For this. Her mother studied her with two knowing eyes. Love isn't supposed to hurt this much, Emma. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it has to. Emma's phone buzzed as she left the hospital. A text from an unknown number. Coffee. We should talk. Woman to woman? A address followed. A cafe in Back Bay. Emma knew she should delete it. But curiosity and dread pulled her forward. Victoria was stunning in person. Blonde hair like spun gold. Perfect bone structure. Designer everything. The kind of woman who belonged in Daniel's world in ways Emma never would. So you're the bookstore girl, Victoria said, stirring her latte. No warmth in her voice. And you're the ex who can't let go. Victoria's smile was sharp as a blade. I'm the woman who knows Daniel better than anyone, including you. Then why did he leave you? Did he tell you why we ended? He found you cheating. Victoria laughed. Cold and brittle. Is that what he said? Did he tell you the whole story? Or just the version that makes him the victim? Emma's stomach twisted. What are you talking about? Daniel and I had an arrangement too, Emma. Before the engagement, before everything. He paid me to be his girlfriend for 6 months while he closed a major business deal. He needed the appearance of stability, a relationship. I needed money for my mother's medical bills. The words hit like a physical blow. You're lying, am I? Ask yourself. Why would a billionaire tech genius suddenly propose an arrangement to a struggling bookstore manager? Why would he offer you exactly what you need most? Because he's done this before, Emma. You're not special. You're a pattern. Emma's hand shook. He loves me. He loved me too. Or so he said. right up until the arrangement ended and he found a convenient excuse to cut me loose. The cheating? I made one mistake with his business partner after. Daniel had been distant for weeks, neglectful, cold. He'd already checked out emotionally. But it gave him the perfect villain origin story. Didn't it? Why are you telling me this? Victoria's eyes hardened. Because I was you once. Desperate, grateful, falling for a man who was paying me to fall. And when the contract ended, so did everything else. He's not capable of real love, Emma. Just transactions dressed up as romance. Save yourself the heartbreak. Take the money and run before you're in too deep. Emma stood abruptly. You don't know anything about us, but know he's still paying you. I know your mother is sick. I know you signed a contract. That's not love, sweetheart. That's employment. Emma left without another word. But Victoria's voice followed her out. Ask him about the clause, Emma. The one about what happens when the 6 months end. Ask him if he's planning to renew you like a subscription service. That night, Emma found the contract in Daniel's study. Read it properly for the first time. And there it was. Buried in legal language, a clause about termination, about how either party could end the arrangement with 2 weeks' notice, no explanations required. Clean, simple. TRANSACTION. And a renewal option. 6 more months. Or 12. Or indefinitely. Like she was a service. A commodity. Something to be extended or canceled based on satisfaction. Daniel found her there, contract in hand, tears on her face. Emma, is it true? Her voice broke. Did you do this with Victoria? Was she in arrangement too? The silence was answer enough. Emma, let me explain. Explain what? That I'm not special? That you have a type? Desperate women with sick mothers who need your money more than their dignity. It's not like that. Then what is it like, Daniel? Because right now it feels like I've been playing a role in a script you've performed before. Victoria was different. That arrangement was business. Strategic. What I have with you is real. Real enough to put. In a contract with a cancellation clause? Daniel's face crumbled. I wrote that contract before I knew you, before I fell in love with you. I was protecting myself, building walls like I always do. And now, would you tear up that contract right now? Would you be with me without the terms and conditions? The hesitation in his eyes was her answer. That's what I thought, Emma whispered. She walked toward the door. Where are you going? I don't know. Away from this. Away from whatever this is. Emma, please. Your mother. The treatment. She turned back. The man she loved looked desperate and lost. Don't you dare use my mother against me. I'll figure it out. I always do. I love you. No, Emma said, her heart shattering. You love the idea of me. The woman you created with your contract and your money and your perfect arrangement. But that's not real. And I deserve real. She left him standing there, left the penthouse with its city views and expensive wine and comfortable lies. Left before he could see. Her completely break apart. Emma's credit cards maxed out on the 3rd month of her mother's treatment. The bookstore barely covered rent. Sophie helped where she could, but it wasn't enough. It was never enough. Emma sat in the hospital parking lot, staring at her phone. Daniel had called 47 times, left 23 voicemails, sent countless texts that progressed from desperate to resigned to simply checking if she was alive. She'd ignored them all until tonight, when her mother's oncologist delivered the news. The treatment was working, miraculously, beautifully. But they needed 3 more months to ensure the cancer didn't return. 3 more months. She couldn't afford. Emma's fingers trembled as she opened Daniel's last text. I know you hate me. You have every right to. But if you need anything, anything at all, I'm here. She typed and deleted 5 different responses before settling on the truth. I need you. He called immediately. Emma. Just her name. It's what it carried so much weight. My mom needs 3 more months of treatment. I'm out of options. Consider it done. I'll transfer the money tonight. No, Emma's voice cracked. Not like that. Not as charity. Not as guilt. If I do this, we do it right. New terms. New contract. My conditions. Silence stretched between them. Then Daniel spoke, his voice raw. Name them. They met at the bookstore after closing. Emma's territory. Her terms. Daniel looked thinner. Dark circles under his gray eyes. He wore jeans and a simple sweater. No armor, no performance. You look terrible, Emma said. I've been miserable without you. A ghost of a smile crossed his face. Tell me your conditions. Emma pulled out a handwritten document. No lawyers, no legal language. Just honesty. First, you tell me the truth about Victoria. All of it. Daniel took a breath. Victoria and I did have an arrangement. 6 months. She needed money for her mother's cancer treatment. I needed a stable relationship for a merger. It was transactional at first, but I did fall for her, or thought I did. When I found her cheating, I realized she'd never actually loved me. Just the lifestyle. The money, I was devastated. Not because she cheated, but because I'd convinced myself something real could grow from something fake. And then you met me. And then I met you. I made the same mistake in reverse. I thought if I built walls around it, made it contractual, clinical, I could control it, keep myself safe. But you destroyed every wall I had, Emma, from that first wrong text. You saw me. Really saw me. And that terrified me more than anything. Emma's chest ached. Why didn't you just tear up the contract? Why keep it? Because I'm a coward. Because if we failed, I wanted to believe it was the arrangement that failed. Not us. Not me. Again, that's the most honest thing you've ever said to me. Daniel stepped closer. I'm learning. You taught me that. Emma looked down at her handwritten conditions. Second, no more contract. No terms. No end date. No renewal clauses. If we do this, it's real. Messy. Complicated. Real or nothing. Done. Third, I pay you back. Every cent. It might take years, but I won't be in your debt. Emma, that's not necessary. It is for me. I need to know I chose you. Not the money. Not survival. You. Daniel's eyes glistened. Okay? Yes. Anything. Emma's voice dropped to a whisper. Fourth, you have to promise me something. When this gets hard, when I doubt you, we fight and I want to run, you have to promise you'll fight for us. Not throw money at it. Not hide behind contracts. Actually fight. I promise. Daniel closed the distance between them. My turn. My condition. What? Marry me. Emma's breath stopped. What? Not now. Not until you believe I mean it. But someday. When you trust that this is real, when you know I love you for you and nothing else, marry me. Be my wife, my partner, my everything. Not because of a contract, because you choose to. Tears spilled down Emma's face. You're insane. I'm in love. There's a difference. I don't trust you yet. I know. So I'll learn it. However long it takes. I'm still angry at you. Should be. I was an idiot. You hurt me. I know. I'm sorry. I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you if you let me. Emma looked at this broken, brilliant, impossible man. This person who'd started as a wrong number and become her everything. My mother gets her treatment. No strings. Done. I keep my apartment. My independence. Done. You go to therapy. Actually deal with your trust issues instead of building contracts around them. Daniel laughed through tears. Done then, okay? Let's try this. The real version. No safety nets. He kissed her then, soft and desperate and full of promise. Kissed him back, tasting salt and hope and terrifying possibility. They pulled apart, foreheads touching. I love you, Daniel whispered. The messy, complicated, real version. I love you too. Even though you're an emotionally stunted billionaire with commitment issues. Even though you're a stubborn, independent bookstore manager who refuses to let me help her. We're kind of a disaster. We really are. Emma smiled through tears. But maybe disasters can be beautiful too. With you, everything is beautiful. 3 years later, Emma stood in the bookstore that was finally fully hers. Daniel had helped her buy the building. Not as charity, as an investment. She'd paid him back with interest. Her mother stood beside her, healthy and whole. 5 years cancer-free. Sophie adjusted Emma's veil, grinning. Ready to marry your wrong number? Emma looked out the window where Daniel waited in the small garden they'd created in the courtyard. No massive wedding, no society event. Just family and friends, and the quiet promise of forever. More ready than I've ever been for anything, she walked toward him through shelves of stories, past all the tales of love and loss and redemption that had raised her, toward the man who'd started as a mistake and become her choice. Daniel turned as she approached, tears in his gray eyes. No contract, no terms, no conditions, just love, messy and complicated and real, exactly as it should be. Hi, Emma said. Hi, Daniel replied. Ready to do this without any safety nets? With you always? And as they joined hands, Emma realized that sometimes wrong numbers lead to exactly the right place. Sometimes transactions become truth. Sometimes the most beautiful stories begin with a mistake. Sometimes you just have to be brave enough to choose love. Even when it's complicated. Even when it's terrifying. Especially then, the end.